Guess I should do a quick intro once in a while since this goes out to different social media platforms. My name is David Dewhurst. I am a minister at Creative Life Spiritual Center. We are part of Centers for Spiritual Living. Originally, it was called or contained the name Science of Mind or Religious Science. So, any of the above. I'm at Creative Life Spiritual Center, as I said, and I really love just being a part of a very positive community, one that wants to help the world. So, first of all, before I start, on our Facebook page tonight, live, 7 o'clock is what we call our soul session. We have these every other month, approximately every other month. Sometimes we squish it up a bit, but by and large, every month. Eamon Duffy is tonight's guest. He will be interviewed by our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings. It will be a very interesting discussion. Eamon is all about positive masculinity in the world. In other words, looking at the masculine side of things as opposed to kind of the bravado side. So looking at the side that we all contain, whether you're male or female, you've all got a masculine element. But this is primarily designed for men to actually help them be, if you want to say, better behaved in the world, fit better in the world, see a bigger picture of the world and not just the male side of it. Then if you're interested in watching that, which I highly recommend, it's pretty good. He came into ministerial school when I was already in ministerial school, became a minister, I think a couple of years after I did, and obviously 3 years after Reverend Lisa, our other minister. So that's kind of a breakdown. 7 o'clock, Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page, and it will be broadcast live, and it will be an interview. And what's the benefit of watching it live versus watching a recording? Well, you get the opportunity to actually ask questions and make comments in the comment section there on our Facebook page, and you'll actually be answered. There'll be a moderator. It's usually Reverend Lisa. I think tonight it might be Reverend Katie Roxbury-Gatti, but there will be a moderator in the sense of somebody will be moderating the chat. They're not moderating the discussion. And they will let the team, Reverend Jesse and Reverend Eamon, know. So, questions, comments, you can do those live. You cannot do that if you watch the recording. So that's my plug for tonight. And why don't I do my other plug at the beginning? Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock-ish. So here we go. Our writer this month is called Mary Davis. And she has entitled this, Forgive Yourself, Renewal and Rebirth. Forgive Yourself, Renewal and Rebirth. First quote is from Eleanor Brown, B-R-O-W-N-N, and Eleanor is a self-proclaimed, and I believe her. She was born in 1973. She's an American novelist, anthropologist, editor, teacher, and speaker, and she's a New York Times International bestselling. Oh no, that's not her, sorry. Eleanor Brown is an inspirational writer based in Southern California. Her focus is on healthy longevity through positivity, compassion for others, and self-care. I don't know if they're the same person. This lady's Brown is spelled with two N's, B-R-O-W-N-N. And she says, God, grant me the serenity to stop beating myself up for not doing things perfectly, the courage to forgive myself because I'm working on doing better, and the wisdom to know you already love me just the way I am. If you want to translate that into a new thought context, science of mind, unity, divine science, and so on, it would probably go something like this. I claim the serenity to accept myself as I am for not doing things perfectly. I claim the courage to forgive myself because I'm working on doing better. And I also claim the wisdom to know that I am loved just the way I am. So that's my new thoughts interpretation of it. But either way, whichever appeals to you. Ernest Holmes in 365 Science of Mind on page 489. Well, it's towards the end of the year, I guess. says, turning from the errors of the past and no longer carrying with us the sorrows and mistakes of yesterday, today we may enter into a new experience, which kind of makes sense. And this is Mary Davis saying, once I was my own worst enemy, berating myself for things I'd done or left undone, left unsaid, or said. I held onto my sadness and shame as if they were life preservers in the ocean of mistakes. If you join me in being a harsh self-critic, or if you've ever made a life-altering mistake that you have difficulty forgiving yourself for, here is what I have learned. Holding yourself hostage for actions of the past does not serve you. It won't right any wrongs, even any scores, or facilitate any new growth. It dims the light of self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence. Negative self-talk is not humility. It is a destructive force that robs us of our inner peace. Self-forgiveness is merely the acceptance of our imperfections and an invitation once again to align with divine love. It's a process and practice that bring renewal and rebirth. It's a chance to recognize our innate goodness and begin again. When we forgive ourselves and release regrets, we find the freedom to go forward and live the lessons we've learned, pursuing our passions with newfound peace and an open heart. Now, she says, practice a little love directed at you. We all make mistakes, and we all do the best we can. Be aware of negative self-talk. Notice the harmful dialogue and turn down the volume. Speak to yourself with the most tender kindness. Forgive yourself. Replace regrets with loving encouragement and begin again. Let me just, so I can see myself here. This is really good advice. In fact, it's excellent advice, but it's not easy. It's like we've talked in the past. There's a lot of things in life that are simple, but they're not easy. This one really is neither simple nor easy. And if you can do it on your own, all well and good. But most of us can't. We need some help. We need some help in forgiving ourselves. We have lots of, excuse me, I think there's a mosquito in here somehow. We have lots of opportunities. So in our faith profession, we have practitioners. They're people who are trained to pray for others. They use affirmative prayer, which we talked about in the past. We have ministers who are trained several years beyond being practitioners before they get to be a minister, and then several years after that to be an ordained minister. So they're very well trained. And if you go to one of these, they can pray for you and they can help you to hold the image of yourself that you would like. If it's something really serious that they can't handle, they're not going to fool you. They're going to refer you to another professional, like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because sometimes that's what it takes. But there's two things here that we can do anyway, and just see if you can actually do it. One I know you can do, the other one may be more difficult. The first one is to look in a mirror and look yourself in the eyes and tell yourself several times, I love you, and mean it. At first, you probably won't be able to mean it. But eventually, if you do it long enough, you will start to get through whatever barriers are in the way, and you'll be able to start truly loving yourself. But as I said, if you need help beyond that, reach out to a practitioner, a minister, or get a referral to a psychiatrist, a psychologist. The other one we can all do, and that really goes back to what she was saying at the end here, and that's living in awareness. She says, be aware of negative self-talk. The only way that you can really be aware of negative self-talk, not just once, but on a kind of ongoing basis, is to live in awareness. And how do you live in awareness? Well, you do your spiritual practices, you do mindfulness exercises, you do treatment for yourself or with a practitioner, you do meditation, and you watch things like this or listen to things like this, which is always good. But as I said, if you think any of this is beyond you, then reach out. There are courses and there are classes that have been built to actually help you do this, like radical forgiveness, for instance. But oftentimes, if it's like that, you need help. So try it yourself in the mirror, see if you can accept it. And if you really can't do that, then that's the time to know you've got to reach out to others and begin practicing living in awareness. Notice your thoughts as you go along. And as Mary Davis says, you don't condemn yourself for those thoughts. No, you notice them and then you say, no, leave. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. So lots of easy ways in a sense. For instance, one great phrase that my wife learned and I learned is, what you think about me is none of my business. Because at the end of the day, somebody else's opinion of you is just their opinion. And if they're a spiritual person, they're not going to drag you down. They're going to help you lift up. But here we're talking about self-forgiveness and self-love. So that's what we're actually working on today. So another reminder, 7 o'clock tonight, Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. The affirmation, I release regrets and forgive myself for past mistakes. That is a really good one. And once you repeat these lots and lots of times, you'll find that you really do start accepting them. I honor the lessons I learned and the person I became through those experiences. I honor the lessons I learned and the person I became through my experiences. So that's all I've got for you tonight. If you need anything, reach out to us. You can text me, you can email me. If you can't reach me straight away, you can email info@creativelife.org, refer to my readings, and tell Reverend Jesse you'd like to get a hold of me. We can even ask for his advice as well. So we're here to serve you. That's why we do these readings twice a day. That's why we have our Sunday services. That's why we put on book studies during the week, Philosophy Fridays, and of course the soul sessions. And why we do all that is to help you and to help make the world a better place. So until next time, namaste.